Postcard Part 3, working on the self-mailer side of the two-sided postcard. Very, very important you understand the information that needs to be in white. So no color, no printing on it except for the indicia, which you got to work with the whoever's printing, not printing. It could be printing too. There could be a print house that prints and mails for a client. You might want to go through the post office in the actual area where the company's from and work with them. Hopefully the client will get this information to you, but you may have to do some digging too and make sure it's approved from the client. This right here would be put down probably by a print house that actually does the mailers for the client. You would just give them the files, they would print and mail, and boom, it's out the door. So you need to make sure there is white areas, no design elements for this printing and mailing information. If we go check real quick in D2L, so here's the postal guide. I might click on this, it should come up much larger. No matter what size of postcard that you create, these areas must remain clear. So what I did is I took this information, 1.125 inch must be clear. Now you can have more space clear. You can have half this. You can have, let me see, this has to be 4 inches wide, 4 3/4. So you can have a 5-inch area that's just completely white on the right side of a postcard if you want to. If we take a look at the samples, that's what they did. But you can also use the extra space that doesn't need to be used for postal information for design. And that's what I did in my sample. So let's go back to InDesign. Okay, so over here, I made some, just some graphics here to kind of represent what needs to be clear. And I'm going to take this stuff, I'm going to copy this right here. Copy, and do I still have page 3? Let's go to page 3, delete this. And this is going to be our back mailer. So the first thing you want to do is set it up. You want to take the information that's provided for you and create the zones that you cannot print on. So this zone right here is 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, again following the information that's available in D2L via the USPS website. So what I did is I just grabbed a rectangle tool, just click it and type in 1.25, it's in inches already, 1.25 inches. And then I filled it with a color, and I'll just go black here, okay? And this is going to go right here. I'm not going to the bleeds, I'm actually working on the document dimensions itself. So this has to be clear, okay? This information, let's see, 2 3/4 square. So again, just clicking, 2.75 by 2.75, fill with black, black. Okay. Again, on the file. Okay, this is from the bottom, so you're going right from the bottom. So this is the mailing address area. The barcode and postal markings, again, we're just going to repeat. Click it, 4.75 by 625. Make sure it's right, 475, 625. And fill with black. Again, this is information to kind of set up your design that you cannot design in these black areas. I'll go ahead and take these back out. I don't want to delete them just in case I mess up this file. I don't want to make sure that basic information is there so I can always refer back to it. Okay, so again, this is the information you cannot place any design elements in here. So I'm going to go into the rulers here and pull over and make sure that, and you don't have to do this, you could do it differently. You don't have to use your guides if you don't want to. I'll just click it and delete. My guides are not locked. If they wouldn't delete, I'd have to go to view, guides, and unlock my guides. Okay, right now they're unlocked, but you could lock it there too. So you can leave these here. You could group it. Whoops, I grabbed some other stuff here. Let me select these 3 elements only. We could group this. And then you could go to your layers, and we'll make a new layer. And it's going to be the USPS info. Okay, these, let's move them there. Okay, we're going to lock this and make sure nothing gets designed in this area. So you got all this other information. You can have your imagery go clear across through here. You need a white box. This would have to be white to make sure no color goes there, but the indicia and the address and the barcode. Let's take a look back at the samples really fast. Let's go back to our samples and we'll go towards the end right here. So this sample, I believe the black ended up on the left side of the indicia. Okay, I left extra space just to make sure and to make it look nice. Okay, the next slide, well, let's go one more. These two left plenty of room. They didn't use the area on the right hand side at all. This would be questionable, so be careful with that. So again, the one I'm showing you is kind of maxing out almost the spacing that you can use on the back self-mailer. So let's go back to InDesign for a moment. I'm going to do this one more time. Again, this is the minimum. Now what I went and put information in here, let me go ahead and copy this and pop it in here. If I did do this in full color, I would have to unlock my codes here or duplicate it. Ooh, I don't want that locked either. I want to work with them individually. I want to show you the actual minimum that needs to be white. So ungroup it. This would have to go all the way over here, and this would have to actually be white. This, again, no bleeds. It's going to be white too, so I've got to extend it a little bit, make this white. Take this element, no color outside of that area, make this white. And what you could do is just, well, I don't want anything up here. I'll just make all of it white. Because again, this is the absolute minimum that needs to remain without any ink, except for the mailing information. So that's the minimum, or I guess I should say this would be the maximum amount of color or design on your postcard. But I designed it this way. I thought it looked better. So right now, here's my minimum line. I put guides in here. So the actual minimum line, let me do this real quick. This might be a better idea. Here's my postage zone. I'm going to have to put this in the front. And you can see that is the minimum, but I added more white than really needed to be. The mailing address would have fit right here. And I did line it up at the max that I could, but I added more white above it. Again, this just refers to the absolute minimum white that has to be on your layout. And just putting things in here, you're just copying information. Please don't make your QR codes humongous. They just need to be visible so your camera can access it. They're kind of small, but anyhow, this is kind of the final that I put together for the festival postcard.